Hey there, you just upgraded to Claude Pro for the research feature, and you're about to waste it with bad prompts. Here's the thing, research isn't just a fancy Google. When you ask it right, Claude makes 20 plus searches, synthesizes everything, and gives you a complete and comprehensive report with sources. But when you ask it wrong, you get generic summaries you could have found yourself in about 5 minutes. By the end of this video, you'll know the 4 components that turn research from expensive chat into a personal research team. Before initiating your research, clearly define what you wish to accomplish. A goal. For instance, you might aim to determine how project managers are using AI. Be specific. How are Fortune 500 companies currently using AI for project management? Second component, clearly define your research parameters to maintain focus, ensuring that your efforts yield relevant and actionable data while avoiding overwhelming yourself with unnecessary information. Narrow the focus on the last 18 months. Limit it to a time frame, for example. Prioritize insights. Focus on identifying key insights that directly impact your research goal, ensuring that the information you gather is relevant and actionable for your objectives. Data relevance. I'm specifically interested in measurable productivity gains and what tools they're adopting. Not marketing claims, not research features, but real outcomes. And finally, clarify the purpose. Understanding the purpose of your research is crucial. It guides your approach, ensuring that your findings are relevant and aligned with your overall objectives. For example, I'm evaluating whether to propose AI implementation at my company. This research prioritizes business cases, ROI data, implementation challenges, the stuff you'd actually get asked about in a meeting. Let's take a look. Here I have 2 chats side by side. One on the left would be the very generic research that you typically plug into something like a Google search. If you put in generic search, you're going to get generic results. So for instance, research AI tools for project management. The prompt on the right is a research prompt, the one we just reviewed. Research the following. How are Fortune 500 companies currently using AI for project management? Focus on the last 18 months. I'm specifically interested in measurable productivity gains and what tools they're adopting. Not marketing claims, not feature lists, real outcomes. I'm evaluating whether to propose AI implementation at my company. I've also made a key configuration here on the right. So you go to these settings and make sure that you have research ticked off here. That's going to give you, that's going to power the research, and also make sure that you have web search as well. That way it'll go out to the internet. So here we go. I'm going to let these run and we'll see what we get. So the prompt on the left is reaching out to the internet for some research. I'm just confirming some tool use here. But it's specifically on the right going into research mode. And you can see that it's actually on the right creating a research plan, which is going to give you much better results. The research has been running for a minute here. The one on the left, the more generic research plan, there wasn't really much of a plan. It did go out to the internet and it came up with a summary, which isn't bad, right? Key benefits of AI project management, and then some of the more popular tools. Probably a lot of what you already knew. You can see on the right, however, there's a research plan, and that took a minute plus itself just to create the plan. So this is a much different approach. It's going to be much more thorough, and it's going to run for quite a few minutes here. You can see that it's actually going out and citing the sources that it's using. Let's come back and check on it in a minute. Just checking back in. The research has been running for over 13 minutes, and still going. So we're getting over how many sources? Oh, it doesn't say, but I'll have the final output and we'll be able to determine, but it's over 100 sources. Okay, after 14 minutes and 20 seconds, the research is completed. And let me just do a quick recap, and then we'll look at the research itself, the document. So this was the research plan, and I wanted to point out that it just reiterates what our requirements were for the research. So as a sense to remind itself, and then what it actually did is create 4 sub-agents, which is it allows in the background, Claude AI is doing asynchronous research, or in parallel, I should say. And that's why it's able, even though it took 15 minutes, it's researching 275 sources. So if we look at that, it's very impressive. Let's see. So you can see the list here, and it we can actually dive into that details. But just to give you an example, would you have been able to research all? None of us would have been able to research all of these sources in that amount of time. It takes that data relative to what we were trying to achieve and analyzes it, and this is the final report here, which I have in a PDF. So it's citing its sources, and it's giving us information related to our goal and our audience and the time frame. You can see 18 months of evidence. So compared to our one on the left, which granted did do some research online, return results maybe in about 15 seconds, it's quite surface level. So if you set up your search with the 4 components of clear objective, scope and boundaries, and what matters most and why you need it, you're going to get really deep research from Claude. So here's your next step. Think of a real business question you're facing right now, not a hypothetical, a real one where you need to gather information before making a decision. Take those 4 components and build your research prompt. Good luck.